wait for a few minutes and then start. Let the participants join. Gove sir, shall we start?
Yes.
Just a minute.
Yeah, all the webinars we have started at the right time. So let us start.
Okay, sir.
Video.
Mishra madam,
Yes, sir. Shall I start?
please go ahead.
Yes, sir. With principal's permission. A very good morning to one and all who are attending this national webinar, the webinar series that the Mahatma Phule College has started. I, Dr. Leena Meshram, on behalf of Mahatma Phule ASC College Panvel, welcome you all for the national webinar jointly organized by Department of Life Science in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell. And the title of the seminar is Seaweed Utilization and Biodiversity Conservation. Thank you all for joining through live Zoom session. And you also can connect us through YouTube and Facebook. The link will be provided to you, so you can send it as soon as possible to the interested participants. Yes, it is an immense pleasure to welcome the keynote address, the keynote speaker of today's webinar, Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, Principal Scientist and Head, Applied Phycology and Biotechnology Division, Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Sir is one of the renowned scientists in the field of applied phycology. It is a privilege to have with us Dr. Arun Chandore sir as a resource person from Department of Botany, Abba Saheb Marathe Arts and Newcomers Science College, Rajapur. I welcome Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, Principal of Mahatma Phule ASC College, Panvel. I also welcome Vice Principal, respected academicians, professors, my teacher colleagues across the nation, and also the organizing committee who took the efforts to bring the resource person on this platform. A special thanks, a special mention to Head of Departments, Mr. A.G. Rokade sir, Head of Zoology Department, Mr. N.B. Pawar sir, Head of Botany Department, and Mrs. H.M. Maidev madam, Head of Biotechnology Department. Also the co-convener of the seminar, Dr. P.R. Pawar sir, Mr. S.L. Gove, IQAC Coordinator. A very warm welcome to this national webinar. Biodiversity is the term that represents total variety of life on Earth, which include thousands of different habitat, millions of species, billions of individuals with trillion of different characteristics that they have. The more the biodiversity, the more secure is life on Earth, including human. Biodiversity is the basis of human health and nature. The COVID situation has painfully alerted us and made us realize how important biodiversity is for human health. And if we don't take care of it, then according to WHO, we will be on the way to face more epidemics and pandemic outbreaks in the near future. One of the important element of biodiversity which has not yet received much attention is seaweed, a primitive plant lacking true roots, stems and leaves. But yes, it is called as a wonder plant and a medicinal plant of the sea and highly useful. Seeing the need of the time, the Life Science Department has aptly organized this national webinar on seaweed utilization and biodiversity conservation. With a lot of pride, I would like to welcome Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur Sir, ex-Secretary of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha. Sir has made a distinct mark in the field of higher education as an academician, administrator, and a research guide, honored with numerous prestigious awards, including Best Principal Award by University of Mumbai for the first time, which was given by University of Mumbai. I request Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir to deliver a welcome note. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning to all. At the outset, I pay my tribute to great social reformer and visionary educationist Mahatma Jyotiba Phule and Karmavir Bhaurao Patil for their sacrifice and selfless service to the masses. Dignitaries present online for this national webinar, keynote speaker Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, Principal Scientist and Head, Applied Phycology and Biotechnology Division, Central Salt and Marine Chemicals Research Institute, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Resource person, Dr. Arun Chandore, Department of Botany, Abasaheb Marathe, Arts, Commerce and Science College, Rajapur, Ratnagiri. Vice Principals, Mr. G.J. Kurane, Dr. R.A. Patil, Dr. N.R. Madvi. Coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Mr. Sopan Gove. Organizing Secretary and Head Department of Zoology, Mr. A.G. Rokde. Convener and Head Department of Botany, Mr. N.B. Pawar. Co-convener of the webinar, Dr. P.R. Pawar. My colleagues, Mrs. H.M. Maidev and Dr. Mrs. Kirti Mhatre from Department of Biotechnology. International participants from USA and Israel. All the participants from various states of India, which includes participants from Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal, Uttarakhand, Goa, Karnataka, Punjab, Manipur, Himachal Pradesh, and Puducherry. All the faculty members, research scholars, and dear students. It is my extreme pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Mahatma Phule Arts, Science and Commerce College, Panvel for this national webinar organized by Department of Zoology in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cell on the topic Seaweeds Utilization and Biodiversity Conservation. Friends, our college is affiliated to University of Mumbai and run by Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, which is one of the largest educational institute in Asia. Our parent institution basically works for the overall development of lower strata of the society by uplifting their educational standard. Our founder, Bhaurao Paigonda Patil, was honored with Padma Bhushan Award from central government and Doctor of Letters degree from Pune University for his outstanding contribution in the field of education. Our college was established in 1970 with a vision to provide quality education to all classes of the society. We are marching ahead with the same principles to achieve the excellence in the field of higher education. It is matter of pride to mention that our college completed 50 years to its establishment in June 2020. The Golden Jubilee function will be organized with a great enthusiasm as soon as COVID-19 pandemic period gets over. Our quest for excellence is reflected through some of our outstanding achievements in the recent past. A grade in third cycle of NAC accreditation with CGPA score of 3.18, Best College Award from University of Mumbai, Karmavir Puraskar from our parent institution, Government of Maharashtra successive prizes in Zagar Janivancha Abhiyan project, ISO 9001-2015 certification from International Accreditation Forum. It reminds me a famous quotation of Winston Churchill: "The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty." We worked on the same line to utilize COVID-19 pandemic for the organization of academic activity. We found that organization of webinars in the present situation is the best opportunity to bring all the academicians and research scholars on the same platform through online mode, and which will also facilitate the use of technology. We successfully organized in all 21 international, national, and regional level webinars based on important topics related to impact of COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Economics, Psychology, Physics, Chemistry, and Marathi successfully organized 5 international webinars in this challenging period. Today's national webinar is organized jointly by Department of Zoology, Botany, and Biotechnology in collaboration with IQAC. I must appreciate members of organizing committee for their sincere efforts to organize this national webinar. Dear academicians, seaweeds are the multicellular macroalgae. They constitute one of the important living resources of the ocean and were found attached on solid substrates. They are primary producers and play a central role in coastal habitats. They support the coastal and marine biodiversity and are the base of food chain in oceans. Seaweed provide food, medicine, and are good source of nutritional food to largest population. It contains nutrients such as sodium, calcium, iodine, zinc, and vitamin B12. Seaweed industry churns out about 12 million metric tons per year. The edible seaweed contains variety of protective antioxidants and also provide fibers and polysaccharides for weight loss and reduce the risk of heart diseases. Bioactive compound of seaweeds plays significant role in prevention of diseases like cancer, inflammation, and diabetes. Direct consumption of seaweeds as a food in the form of salads, soups, and number of other food preparations is very common in Southeast Asian countries, whereas in India, seaweeds are only used for extraction of industrially important phycocolloids such as agar and alginates. There are opportunities to promote indigenous seaweed-based technology for the production of biostimulates. The rising global demand for seaweed-derived products, seaweed farming, has the potential to generate further socio-economic benefits to coastal communities in India. The other theme of this seminar, of this webinar, is the biodiversity. Biodiversity describes the variety of life on Earth, including the 8 million plants and animal species on the planet, the ecosystems that house them, and the genetic diversity among them. Biodiversity is a complex, interdependent web in which each member plays an important role, drawing and contributing in ways that may not even be visible to the eye. The abundant food we eat, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the weather that makes our planet habitable all come from nature. Biodiversity is the foundation that supports all life on land and below water. It affects every aspect of human health, providing clean air and water, nutritious foods, scientific understanding, and medicine sources, natural disease resistance, and climate change mitigations. Changing or removing one element of this web affects the entire life system and can produce negative consequences. Human activities have given significantly, they have changed 3/4 of land surfaces and 2/3 of ocean area between 2010 and 2015. 32 million hectares of forest disappeared, and in the last 150 years, live coral reef covers has been reduced by half. Glacial ice is melting at astonishing rates, while ocean acidification grows is threatening the ocean's productivity. Wildlife species are disappearing tens to hundreds of times faster now than in the past, and within the next 10 years, 1 out of every 4 known species may be wiped off the planet. We are on the verge of mass extinction, and if we continue on this path, biodiversity loss will have severe implications for humanity, including the collapse of food and health systems. The emergence of COVID-19 has made it clear that when we destroy biodiversity, we destroy the system that supports human. By upsetting the delicate balance of nature, we have created ideal conditions for the spread of viruses between animal and human populations. Reversing biodiversity loss is the only way to restore and sustain a healthy planet. This will only be possible when we understand the web of life in which we live and appreciate that it functions as a whole system. It is time to reimagine our relationship with nature and put nature at the heart of our decision making. I am sure that the keynote speaker of the webinar, Dr. Vaibhav Mantri from Gujarat, and the resource person, Dr. Arun Chandore from Ratnagiri, will enlighten us with their scholarly talks on the theme of the webinar. I am really grateful to all the participants for their overwhelming response to all the webinars organized by our college. I am confident that all academicians will cooperate to make this webinar a grand success. Before I conclude, once again, I welcome you all for this national webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a warm welcome and explaining the need of biodiversity conservation to restore the planet again. Thank you so much. To ensure the connectivity and clarity during the webinar, the video and audio will be mute or disabled. So the queries, if you have, you can put through the chat box and it will be checked at the end of the webinar. Without a further delay, I request Dr. S.P. Supnekar, Assistant Professor in Zoology, to introduce the keynote speaker, Dr. Vaibhav Mantri. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, one and all present for the webinar. Honorable Principal of our college, Dr. Ganesh Thakur Sahib, our Vice Principals, Porane sir, Dr. Patil sir, Dr. Madhvi sir, our NAC Coordinator, Gove sir, Organizing Secretary of this webinar, Rokde sir, Convener of this webinar, NB Pawar sir, Co-Convener of this webinar, Dr. PR Pawar sir, and all the teaching faculty of our college and participants from all over the country. This task of introducing our guest of honor and speaker is a great privilege. I am Dr. Santosh Supnekar from Department of Zoology, and I am so excited to be here to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Vaibhav Mantri. Dr. Vaibhav Mantri is Principal Scientist and Head of Applied Phycology and Biotechnology Division of Central Salt and Marine Chemical Research Institute, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. He has completed his BSc in Botany from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. During BSc only, he has received late Professor N.B. Tare Prize for stood first in BSc. He has completed MSc in Botany from Pune University and PhD from Bhavnagar University, Gujarat. He has honored by many awards like CSIR Raman Research Fellowship for the year 2010-11. He has also received CSIR Award for S&T Innovations for Rural Development for Seafood Cultivation and Value Addition in September 2013. He has completed about 9 major research projects funded by CSIR, DBT, DST, MOEF, and NFDB, in which one project is an international collaborative project with India and outside agencies, costing about 400 lakhs, and he is working as principal investigator. It is really a proud thing. He is also working as editorial board member for International Journal of Geology, Earth and Environmental Science, India. He also guided about 5 students for PhD and also worked as examiner for 7 PhD theses from different universities. He has published about 18 research articles in peer-reviewed journal. He has filed and granted numbers of patents. So such a dynamic personality we have today with us. So I requested Dr. Vaibhav Mantri sir deliver a keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Santosh, and uh, thank you for introducing me. But I must tell before I start my presentation, I'm also a student of Rayat Shikshan Sanstha, and I'm a student of SGM College Karad, and that's how I connected to your college because before I start, as I said, I am very much thankful to my beloved teacher, Dr. Mrs. Manjiri Mote, who has been spearheading, for bringing me to your college. And for your information, in 2016, I visited your college. By the way, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So as I said, I am very much thankful to Mote Madam, and I had a privilege to visit your college in 2016, where I deliver a similar talk at Department of Botany. So thank you, Madam, and let me also thank Dr. Ganesh Thakur, Principal of the Mahatma Phule College, Panvel. I could see the depth of his knowledge when he was welcoming the guest and starting the program. He has basically given such a wonderful, clarification about why these topics are required and what is the recent state of the art. So thank you so much, sir, for inviting me. I am also thankful to Dr. N.B. Pawar, convener and head of the botany department, for inviting me to basically give the talk. I think when I was asked what kind of audience is there, so I was told that basically there are students. So although I generally give talks in such seminars and try to give a lot of science behind this time I thought of giving my talk in kind of introduction, because many of the students, if you see in India, we lack interest in science, especially getting good students to do research is very difficult. And I personally think that it should start at BSc level, undergraduate level. As with my own experience, let me share with you all. When I was in SGM college, I had a privilege to visit field with my teachers, and I remember none of the student went with teachers. This was not, I'm not telling about a botanical excursion and all. My teachers used to go once in a year to various places to brush up their knowledge and exchange the ideas. And I went to Kas Plateau with my teachers, and it gave me, a kind of interest in research and observation skills and all. So today I thought of giving this kind of talk, where more people will be motivated to take science. And as your principal sir has rightly said that when you see the Indian scenario, a lot of research is happening in higher plants, but there are very few research, organizations where seaweed research is taking place. Ours is one of the leading organization. So with this small background, let me start today's presentation, which is more on seaweed diversity and utilization in India, recent efforts. But I'll be basically going to give you a kind of new developments, a kind of new applications developed in this domain. Please let me know whether my slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So if you see, like your principal sir has covered this introduction, but let me still take a few minutes of yours. When you see the seaweed, they are basically a marine renewable resources. I'm not very sure how many of you have personally seen seaweed in the nature. You people might have seen photographs and books and films and all, but it is very interesting organism. If you go to any seashore, you can find during the lowest low tide that various very brilliantly colored plants, and they are basically called seaweeds. They are distributed throughout the world ocean. You can take any place like Antarctica also, you can find seaweeds there. And uh, these are basically, lower strata of the plant kingdom, classified into the evolutionary scale. If you see, they are coming at lower strata, and they are also they are marine macroalgae, but they are known as seaweeds. Unfortunately, seaweed has a very negative connotation, but they are very, very useful plants. And this word seaweed is misnomer. You will see throughout my presentation why they should not call as seaweed. They should call as marine algae, macroalgae. Again, interesting fact that if you see, although they are grouped into common, term seaweed or marine macroalgae, phylogenetically their origin is different. Evolutionary lineages are different, and that is why it is called artificial heterogeneous grouping. Conventionally, based on their pigments, they are classified into three major groups or classes. Rhodophyta is a red algae, Phaeophyta is brown algae, and Chlorophyta is green algae. So they are basically based on, as I said, artificial system. Then they are very successful. If you see, as I said, if you go to seashore, you can see that every day there are two tides. It's called diurnal pattern, and two times high tide comes and two times low tide comes, and the entire area between the highest high tide and lowest low tide mark get exposed. So if you see, basically these plants are getting exposed to very harsh condition. And interestingly, as you know, these tides are based on lunar cycle. So they are basically a gravitational pull of sun, pull of moon, and that is why this tide time changes. So sometimes tide comes night, midnight, sometimes in noon, sometimes early morning, evening, and you can understand that during this phenomenon, all these plants get exposed. So these plants basically put to the very harsh kind of condition, and still they are very successful because they have developed very unique kind of adaptation, and they have basically a very different metabolic pathways. They have evolved and they have survived these conditions, and that is why they are very important. And lot of basically this kind of thing has given them to produce lot of unique compounds in them. Just to give you idea that there are three major polysaccharides. There are many polysaccharides, but major polysaccharides are agar, carrageenan, and alginate, and these are used in our everyday commodity. Will be coming very shortly where they have been used. When you see a trajectory of seaweed research and utilization, I think I should not read this slide because it will become very boring. But you see that 35,000 BC also the use of seaweed was known. And if you see the earlier kind of medicines, especially
I think there's a technical glitch, and we will soon resume as soon as Vaibhav sir joins us. Supnekar sir. Gove sir. Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, I think sir is mute, so we can't hear him.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, sir. Sir, I think you are mute, so we can't hear you. I think there is some technical disturbance.
hello, now am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
Yes,
are
yeah,
audible. Please
yeah.
Yeah,
share your
from
slides.
which slide you could not hear?
So please share your slides.
So whether you could hear this slide properly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think then I have covered this. This slide, as I said, you can see that these seaweed products are basically used in our everyday life. As I was telling, the pet food is basically, if you go and buy, it contains a seaweed, a wood polish, jam, jellies, and cookies, cosmetics. Everywhere seaweed is used, but only thing is we are not aware. Now, going to next slide, as I said, if you see the most of the people know about polysaccharides only. So these polysaccharides, as I said, agar, carrageenan, and alginate, they are basically used as a thickening agent in dairy and also non-dairy products like, as I said, jam, gels, toothpaste, ointments. They are also used as laxative. So these are the most common applications of polysaccharide. You also get specialty chemicals, pigments, amino acid, antioxidants, and kind of mineral extracts. They have been used in various formulations. The most old and also a most recent a big market is about seaweed fertilizer, seaweed based fertilizer, biostimulants, and they, as your principal sir has said, they have very good properties of potassium and other minerals, so they are used as a fertilizer. These are the most common applications, and I'm sure many of you might have heard about them. I'll be touching upon in couple of slides very novel applications, and you people might have probably not heard. Uh, you can see left hand side of the slide shows a old house, a very beautiful house. It is on the Danish coast, and this house is thatched with seaweed used as a material to thatch roof. Now, this is very unique, and I'll be coming in another couple of minutes to this kind of a new application where people are seriously looking at. But just to show that how traditional use of seaweed is still continued. On my right hand side, you can see that it is also used to flavoring a kind of gin, alcohol, and these are very recent applications, and people are going kind of experimenting new flavors and all. So you can see that this is a very interesting application, and till yesterday I was also not knowing much of it, because I thought when I'm talking I should not use my old slides and try to give a very new and unique applications. You can see that as I said, they are basically polysaccharides, and a kind of textile is developed from seaweed polysaccharides. One lady called Jasmine Linnington has basically developed kind of textile and fabric material, and this is already in the market. By the way, I have given source for each of my slides, so people can go and read more. The claim of the company which is making this fabric is a biodegradable. First thing, is more comfortable. It reduces kind of allergic reaction or kind of trouble when you use synthetic material. So this very new application. As I said that when I was talking about thatch roof, you see a young designer has come with reintroducing, they use the term because I said in Danish coast it is known, seaweed as a building material. But here it is basically a building material and not a thatch roof. So you can see that advantages of using seaweed material is a bio-based solution, and you can have more breathable construction, especially the exchange of air and everything, ventilation can be good. And being a plant material, it keeps you cool when there is more heat, and also it keeps you warm when there is more cold, and it is excellent kind of decomposable material, and this application is seriously looked upon. um, as you know, I don't know how many of you have undergone kind of a surgery, major surgery, but these are very common. They have kind of a spray. When you have a wound, they put that spray on you. And I was told that basically this is kind of seaweed based material, and what they do is they use alginate, and this alginate acts as a material where a dressing is made from that, and it helps in wound healing. Very recent application is by Dr. Pia Winberg of Australia, and she has not used a common material which I said alginate. She has used alva, and from alva she has got a material which is biodegradable, as again I said. And what they do is they form a matrix, and already 3D printed material is available in the market. So this matrix basically uses for our human cells to develop connections with each other. They mimic a mammalian connective tissue, and on that basically neurons, they recognize it, and they act as a fibroblast, and then they allow the wound healing in a fastest possible manner. I have shown you on the right hand side how it looks and how it is developed. This is already available in the market. I think there is another very interesting emerging application. You all know methane emission is very difficult problem world is facing. and methane emission is man-made, is of man-made origin. Mostly it comes from livestock and farming. If you see, I don't have to give you figures, you can read yourself. It is emission is increasing day by day, is basically because of, as I said, our own requirement. And the target for 2025 is 45% reduction in methane, and the target for 2030 is 60 to 75% reduction. Do you really think it can be achieved? It's very difficult to achieve. But very recently, people have, including my own organization, we also have done a research and shown that a research says that as low as 0.5 to 1.5% of cattle feed, if mixed with seaweed kind of a formulation, it can reduce the methane emission considerably. Now, I have just given this figure. There are estimated 1.5 billion cattle in the world, and to add even 0.5% of their feed seaweed, you need an enormous amount of seaweed, which is today not possible. But certainly, cultivation technologies, I'll be coming now to cultivation technologies, is very much possible. So it is very interesting and unique application and holds a great promise. I think this is my last application, but again very interesting. Personal care industry is getting, experimenting with various new kind of substances and chemicals. And as I said, this seaweed is a biological material, and it has found its application in personal care industry. Seaweed baths are very popular in Ireland and in other European countries also. You can see that people are using it in the spas, because it has mineral, it has vitamin, so it helps to nurture your skin. And this is another very emerging application. I think with this, I ended my application part. Now you see a global seaweed composition. You can find that there are only few genera which are contributing to the whole seaweed production. There are 10 species and one variety from Chlorophyta, and then there are 12 species and 7 genera of Phaeophyta. And I think like that you can see that this seaweed industry is dominated. If you see the composition I have given you, the red alga, which is called Kappa-Ficus euchema complex, is the major composition of world production of seaweed, something around 40%. After that, it is Laminaria japonica. It's basically a brown seaweed. Then comes a red seaweed, Gracilaria and Porphyra. And then, of course, again a brown seaweed, Undaria pinnatifida, and others. So they all makes the global seaweed production. So these 5 to 6 genera only are. Of course, there are some smaller scale production by other genera, but these are most dominating forms. If you see seaweed cultivation, I thought of giving you a good picture to bring to your knowledge how expansive this industry is. China is a leading country, followed by Philippines and Indonesia, then Japan and Korea. You can see that seaweed cultivation techniques are of two types. There are third type emerging, but the major two types are open sea cultivation and land-based cultivation. This slide is shown open sea cultivation. The area which is mostly a kind of lagoon or protected area is used for open sea cultivation. The best part is like agriculture on land, you don't need land to cultivate seaweed. So you are not going to change a pattern, a land use pattern. A kind of a human population increase, you are going to face lot of problems for all kind of material, including food, clothing, and everything. And seaweeds are going to be, as your principal sir said and other speakers said, is a wonder plant. And you can see that it doesn't require irrigation, no fertilizer, pesticide needs, nothing is required. And basically, viable cultivation technologies are available. A very recent and development is land-based technologies. They are going to be a bit costly than open sea technologies, but the best part about land-based technologies is you can control everything. Like in open condition, nothing is in your control. What kind of water is coming, what kind of heavy metals or whatever pollution, anything can come in the open sea. But when you do in the land-based cultivation, not only water and all, you can have temperature, salinity, all the things controlled. And that's how you can basically, where there is a niche market, where there is some application which is related to human food consumption, you always prefer the land-based cultivation. Israel is the leading country in this. The third type is offshore. I have not included because it is only in experimental scale cultivation. If you remember my pie chart, you can, if you I'm sure you remember that Kappa ficus and Euchema are the biggest domain in that. But till 2010, brown seaweed, Saccharina and Undaria were dominated, and they were the major chunk of global seaweed production. And recently, Kappa ficus and Euchema has taken over, and Philippines and Indonesia are the leading countries. You can see the kind of cultivation they do is basically off bottom fixed monoline cultivation. Now, I thought of giving you one very classic example because many of the students might have probably heard and learned this. This is called porphyra, and it is edible seaweed and mostly cultivated in Japan. Now, on left hand side extreme, you can see that there is one lady, and she is the one who discovered a life cycle stage called conchosylis in life cycle of porphyra. Previously, conchosylis was known, but as a separate genus and separate algae. But she is the one, Professor Kathleen Drew from UK, has discovered that conchosylis is not a different alga, but is a life cycle stage of porphyra. Before that, also porphyra cultivation was happening in Japan, but they were not knowing. They were knowing the season and time and place where they used to keep their nets and bamboo structures on which this conchosylis is to get deposited and germinated, and then later on leafy thallus was coming on those structures. But when Professor Kathleen Drew has discovered this, now cultivation has become easy. The very interesting part about conchosylis is it requires calcium kind of a structure, and all shell, the first photo you can see here, there is hello, am I audible or there is any problem?
Sir, no problem.
Okay, so this conchosylis is basically artificially cultured on these shells, and it is a shell boring stage. It grows inside this densely, and when it reaches to its particular stage and when you give conducive environment, it basically produces a conchospores, and these conchospores are then put on the nets, you can see, and these nets are then put in the open sea where leafy thallus grows. That's how this cultivation of porphyra is happening. Now coming to the diversity of seaweed in India, I just thought of showing you some good picture to give you the idea what kind of thallus diversity is there. There are more than 800 to 900 species reported from India, and these are some of the common seaweeds. of Indian coast. Our institute is, as I said, a pioneer organization. We have already published 2 checklists and 1 book on identification of seaweed. And then there are 2 monographs on applications mostly. And they are related to Indian seaweed with reference to global scenario. And then there are some kind of manuals and literature published by our organization. And whoever is interested can get the copies from us. Now I just gave a comparison of seaweed diversity. Kindly excuse me, I have also included class yellow green and blue green alga. Strictly speaking, they are not seaweeds, but they were added by earlier workers. So just to give comparison, I thought of adding everything so that the comparison becomes real. So far there are 5 checklists of Indian seaweed. The first checklist was by our organization, and it was published by Professor Krishnamurthy and Dr. Joshi in 1970s, and they have included 525 species. After that, the National Institute of Oceanography came up with the new checklist in 86, and it was published by Dr. Untawale and Dr. Dhargarkar. They reported around 625 different species. And after that, in year 2001, 2 checklists were published. One is again by our own organization by Dr. R.M. Oza and Dr. S.H. Jayadi, and it's called Revised Checklist of Indian Coast, and reported 844 species. At the same time, Professor Sahu of Delhi University has come up with Indian seaweed checklist, and it includes 770 species. The last checklist of Indian seaweed was published by Botanical Survey of India, and it was in 2012, and it was by Dr. P.S.N. Rao and Dr. Gupta, and it included maximum species. Those are around 1019. So if you see, this is a continuous compilation of data. I'm sure a new checklist will come shortly, which will include the new knowledge. And this is very essential because, although the title of today's lecture, my part is only on biodiversity application, but the second lecture is more on conservation. And you will see, very unfortunately, like this group is not researched enough to propose some of the seaweeds, which are already endangered or threatened, that category, because data is required, and unfortunately such kind of data is not available. But we are very happy that at least diversity data is available. Now, when you come to Indian applications, you have to also see that there is a big market. Today's market of Indian seaweed-based business is around 300 to 500 crore. And if you see that these seaweeds are basically collected from nature, and there are, like fish landing centers, there are 14 landing centers in India, mostly located at Tamil Nadu, where people go dive deep inside the water and collect the seaweed, gather the seaweed and dry them and sell them to the industry. So it is a big business, and mostly before the intervention of our institute, all the seaweeds were naturally harvested. It also, there are 2 points to this, domain. One is when you naturally exploit the seaweed, it can become indiscriminate kind of activity if you don't plan it properly, because as you know, all these seaweeds have a life cycle. They produce a spore. When you basically harvest them when they are in reproductive stage, before reproductive stage, if you harvest, they will not produce enough of seed material for the next generation. And if this trend continues, basically you won't get seaweeds in next 20 years or 30 years. We have already observed such kind of a problem with economically important seaweeds, especially Gildiella acerosa and Gracilaria edulis. My colleague Dr. Ganeshan and Dr. Ishwaran both are working for last 25 years on Tamil Nadu coast, and recently they have come with the finding that these 2 species have become locally extinct. almost nearing extinct. You don't get them. That's how the exploitation happened. And another part is you also have to conserve them, not only for a well-being and all. When you basically develop a viable cultivation technologies like our institute has developed, you also need a seed material. So seed material comes only from nature, so you have to conserve them. Now, some of you might be knowing that there is a seaweed called Kappa ficus, which is commercially cultivated. I just thought of showing you some glimpse of how this work is done. Mostly in Tamil Nadu, self-help group model is very popular. These ladies, you can see that they sit and seed them and tie them, and then the main member of the family, they go and basically anchor them. This kind of model was very successful. We have also trained lot of people during last 5 to 10 years, and we have also initiated another seaweed called Gracilaria dura at Gujarat Coast very recently. When you see the application, there are several applications you have seen in my previous slide. But when you see the Indian scenario, we have developed a very good innovation has come. These seaweeds are basically, they contain more than 90% is a liquid inside them, and it's a kind of a bioaccumulation. They basically selectively accumulate a certain kind of ingredients inside their tissue, and when you crush them and you expel the liquid, which is called sap, it has become a very good biostimulant, agriculture related product. It has become, it was shown that it is an excellent fertilizer, and our institute has taken a pan India trial covering 43 different agricultural universities and several crops, and it was shown that the yield has increased something between 11% to 40% depending on the crop. So this is a major product, and then whatever residue is left is basically a polysaccharide. If you talk about Gracilaria, it is agar. If you talk about Kappa ficus, it is carrageenan. So it's basically a kind of method is same, and this residue has again several applications. We have developed biodegradable films which are more similar like plastic, and the residue also can go in a gasifier for energy application, and this ash which left, again it can go as a soil amendment application. Then this
Unmuted कुठे
residue,
झालंय माझं?
if you basically, it's polysaccharide, you can ferment them to form a
नाही.
bioethanol,
मग कशाला
and
ते?
carrageenan or other residues can go directly to pet food, or agar can go directly for microbial culture media. So these are basically the applications, and various methods were developed. I just wanted to show you this because these days there is a lot of interest in biodegradable plastic. We have already developed, and depending upon the process and combination, you can make it thin, thick, and strength can be improved, and it can be transparent, it can be opaque. Uh, just I wanted to emphasize that all these applications which I talked previously are IP protected, and we have US patent for all these applications, and our institute has successfully transferred technologies related to these. Another very interesting application is low sodium salt. If your person has a hypertension, doctor says that don't take salt, and salt is very essential. Nobody likes to eat food without salt. So these seaweeds, they accumulate more of potassium, and this potassium we have used to form a low sodium salt, and it is available in the market also. I think with this I end here, and I just wanted to say that we have to develop applications without which our resources are of no use. I would like to thank to my director, Dr. Srinivas Kannan, and our past directors also, because this work is a continuous work. And also I'm thankful to all the colleagues worked in CSMCRI, past and present colleagues who have developed these beautiful technologies. And once again, I must thank all my teachers, starting from my school days up to my PhD, because they all have inspired me to take a very different path and guided me to the research and this fascinating world of seaweed. And thank you once again, Mote Madam, for giving, suggesting my name to the management. And it was very pleasure and very nice to talk to all of you. If there are any questions, I'll be very happy to take them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for an amazing lecture. And you have made it interesting with the resourceful slides which were shown. We could see the passion about the seaweed that you have. And thank you for sharing such valuable piece of information about the utilization of seaweeds. I hope I feel that there are no questions in this session, or if there are, we will see that at the end of the second session. I now request Dr. Ella Rathod, sir, Assistant Professor in Botany, to introduce the resource person, Dr. Arun Chandore, sir. Before that, I request participants to please disable your mic or the mute your mic during the session. I request the host also, the co-host, to mute your mic because there were disturbance in this talk. So over to you, Rathod, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon to all present for national webinar. Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur Sahib, Mahatma Phule Art, Science and Commerce College, Panvel. Today's keynote address is Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, Principal Scientist and Head Applied Phycology and Biotechnology Division, Bhavnagar, Gujarat. Today's resource person, Dr. Arun Chandore sir, Assistant Professor of Botany, Abbasai Marathi College, Rajapur. Vice Principal of the college, Professor G.J. Korane sir, Dr. N.R. Madvi sir, Dr. R.A. Patil sir, Head Department of Zoology and Organizing Secretary of this webinar, Professor A.G. Rokde sir, Head Department of Botany and Convener, Mr. N.B. Pawar sir, Co-Convener, Dr. P.R. Pawar sir, Head Department of Biotechnology, Mrs. H.M. Mahadev madam, IQC Coordinator, Mr. S.L. Gove sir, Technical Support Staff and all departmental colleagues, and Uncle Dr. Ellen Mesra madam. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's research person, Dr. Arun Chandore sir. He is working as Assistant Professor in Department of Botany, Abbasai Marathi Arts, New Commerce and Science College, Rajapur. He has completed PhD in 2011 on the topic entitled Floristic Studies on Monocotyledons of Belgaum district under the guidance of Professor S.R. Yadav, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He is recognized guide for PhD and also MSc by Research University of Mumbai. He has completed two major research projects sanctioned by SERB, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, New Delhi, worth rupees 23 lakhs and 29 lakhs 68,000. He has completed three minor research projects by University of Mumbai and WWF India. About awards, he is a recipient of awards, Eklavya Scholarship by University of Pune, K.S. Maninal Awards in International Annual Conference of IAAT by Bhartiya University, Coimbatore, Young Scientist Awards by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Fellow of IAAT Awards by Indian Association of Angiosperm Taxonomy, Professor M. Sabur Awards by Angiosperm Taxonomy for Teachers and Scientists, Excellence Scholars Awards by International Botanical Congress, China. Sir has published two general articles in Madhyam Vidya University of Kolhapur. He has presented his research paper abroad in international conference at Australia, China and Brazil. He has 65 publications to his credit. He has presented 58 research paper in national and international conferences. He is a life member of Indian Association for Angiosperm Taxonomy. Such a brilliant and active researchers and academician is with us today with this brief introductions. I request to Dr. Arun Chandore sir to deliver his speech. Over to Arun Chandore sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please let me know that my slide are visible.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ओके. प्रथमतः कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटील यांना मी अभिवादन करतो. I am very much thankful to Honorable Principal Dr. Ganesh Thakur, Mahatma Phule College, Panvel, for organizing such a nice activity. I am also thankful to Mr. A.G. Rokde, Organizing Secretary and Head Department of Zoology, Mr. N.B. Pawar, Convener and Head Department of Botany, Mrs. H.M. Madhav, Head Department of Biotechnology, Mr. S.L. Gove, IQC Coordinator, and my friend Dr. Santosh Supnekar, and all organizing committee of this national webinar. I am very much thankful to today's keynote speaker, Dr. Vaibhav Mantri, for deliver very excellent lecture on seaweed utilization. And I am thankful to our college principal, Dr. P.G. Pawar sir, for encouraging and activity. Okay, today's very interesting topic, plant diversity and strategy for its conservation. And here I am showing some interesting discoveries from Western Ghat and Konkan region from last 10 years and the strategies for its conservation. Here statistical record of plant diversity, approximate number species found in our planet as well as in India. Here angiosperm is the dominant with about 3 lakh species and near about 17,500 species are reported from our country. Angiosperm is the captain, is the present day diversity, captain of present day diversity. About 20 to 60 species are depend on single tree species for their survival. Then gymnosperm, about 650 species and 64 species are reported from India, and recently one species that is Cycas andamanica is reported from our country, from Andaman and Nicobar Island. Then algae with about 40,000 species, and in India about 6,500 species are reported. Then fungi with 17,000 species and 14,500 species are reported from India, whereas bryophyte 14,600 species and 2,850 species are reported from our country. Then pteridophyte with 10,000 species number and around 1,100 species are reported from India. And lichen or in locally we call as dagad phool, this plant reported, this group reported about 13,500 species and about 2,000 species are reported from our country. Today, I am focusing only angiosperm diversity because it is a very vast group, and you see this 5 families. Okay, out of 3 lakh species, 5 families cover 29% diversity of angiosperm, and here Asteraceae with dominant number about 22,750 species, followed by Asteraceae. Orchidaceae is on second number with near about 21,950 species. Then Fabaceae is about 19,400 species, and rubiaceae is at fourth number with 13,150 species, and poaceae is at fifth number with 10,035 species. Here, this is Western Ghat and Konkan region. Western Ghat is start at Tapi River and it run from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu and ending at Kanyakumari. And this is the entire Western Ghat. And you see this is Konkan. Konkan is generally land between the Western Ghat and the Arabian Sea and between the Tapi River in the north and Chandragiri River in the south. In Maharashtra, Konkan includes all coastal districts, that is Mumbai, Raigad, Ratnagiri, Sindhudurga, Thane and Palghar. Okay, this Konkan and Western Ghat, biodiversity, it is very important patch. You see here, in our planet, there are 34 biodiversity hotspots and Western Ghat is one of them. Okay, here, this is Western Ghat region and I am showing here 2 to 3 example of Western Ghat. This is the Harichandragarh area and it is in Ahmednagar district. Okay, you see this is the top area, this is streams and this is the forest. Okay, this area is very unique area. That's why it is our place in Western Ghat. You see this area height is about above 1600 meter from sea level. Okay, and you see this unique habitat in Western Ghat at Harichandragarh. Here, this is top plateau or plateaus of high altitude, and here the height about 1600 meter from sea level. Then here it is a steep area or hanging rock, and there it is low region or plateaus with low terrain region. And here you see this is steep rock. How I am saying here it is very important because botanically or biodiversity this is unexplored area, and that's why we have to focus on this area. Here you see this is beautiful plant Pinda conconensis. This species was described by Dalzell from same region, that is Kalsubai, Harichandra and Western Ghat region, and this species is monotypic and endemic. Okay, earlier it was monotypic and endemic, this means only the species Pinda conconensis, no other species in the genus Pinda. Okay, here you see this plateau with full of Pinda conconensis and the plant that is Stobulanthus reticulata. This is also endemic plant. It is restricted only high altitude ranges. And here last year we got this interesting species from this hanging rock or this steep rock of high altitude of Harichandragarh area. And you see this is unique ranges, and here the plant with exactly similar to Pinda conconensis, but we critically analysis this plant, and after that we come to conclusion this is a interesting species and it is closely allied to Pinda conconensis. And you see these differences between Pinda conconensis and recently described species of Pinda. Here lived in differences in leaf, differences in seed, differences in flower, and here pedicel and other characters. Okay, and this paper before 2 months back published in Nordic Journal of Botany, and the flower come on cover page, and then we name after our guy guru, that is Professor S.R. Yadav, Pinda Srirangi, Sriranga Ramchandra Yadav, and this is our team, my colleague Dr. Gosavi, then our student Nilesh and Devidas. Okay, this beautiful and unique discovery from this steep rock and hanging rock. Okay, and now the Pinda is bitypic, that is one species is Pinda conconensis and recently described its second species is Pinda Srirangai. Okay, this is another area of Western Ghat, that is Tilari area. It is this area from Kolhapur, okay, district of Maharashtra, and some part of this area in Sindhudurga district. Okay, you see this top plateau is beautiful with this stream, and along the stream there are some beautiful flower, that is impatient. This is Acaulis without stem. Okay, this is impatient Acaulis, and you see this beautiful panorama of this flower, and this flower only 15 to 20 days along this stream area. And here that's why I'm saying this plateaus or inaccessible area is very important for biodiversity or botanically. Here this is plateaus of Tilari. Here in first slide, this is Habenaria panchaganensis, another endemic plant and restricted on that plateau. Here you see this plateau stem, and along with this euphorbia, and under this bushes of euphorbia, some critically endangered plant species, or this is Ceropegia conconensis, we recently described from that plateau and Konkan region. This is restricted on Tilari plateau. Okay, okay. Such a plant, such a beautiful and rare and critically endangered plant found on high altitude plateau or inaccessible areas. Here, and I'm happy to inform you that this species we have described, this chlorophytum, last year we have described chlorophytum tilarensis, Sapet Musari species, and this species found on Tilari plateau. You see, this is unique species, and this species also allied to recently described species, that is chlorophytum goatnense. Okay, this goatnense species was described before 10 years back from Gotne area of Gotne plateau of Ratnagiri district, and this species is, you see these differences between chlorophytum goatnense and chlorophytum tilarensis. Here this stamen, filament, then petal, then is sessile tuber versus is stalk tuber, and it's restricted only 2 square kilometer area. And here this paper published in before 6-7 months back, and you see this differences between chlorophytum goatnense and chlorophytum tilarensis. And you know this chlorophytum genus, how it is medicinally it is important group. Okay, here this is the evergreen and semi-evergreen type of forest patches in Konkan and Western Ghat region. Here deciduous forest with bamboo big, secondary scrub and thorn forest, then secondary forest. Then you see here moist deciduous forest, dry deciduous forest. Okay, here vegetation along river side. I'm showing this slide because this area is biodiversity very important, and we'll get some interesting and new species from such areas. Here some forest areas of Konkan. You see, this is Chunakolon waterfall and the forest of Chunakolon area. Then here Dopeshwar waterfall and this forest area of Dopeshwar. Here evergreen and semi-evergreen forest types of Oni and Savatkada areas. Okay, this Dongar and Dongar village areas. Okay, and this is the Ghat region. Okay, already I told Western Ghat is different Ghat. Okay, this Western Ghat, this Ghat region towards the east side of Konkan, and you see this is coastal region. This coastal region towards the west side of Konkan, and this west Ghat region as well as these coastal regions are very important. And here you see these plateaus. Okay, plateau or Marathi we call as Pathar, or sometimes we call Katal. Okay, this is the lateritic plateau. In between this Western Ghat and coastal region, there are plateaus, this plain land or this lateritic plateaus, and this is biodiversity is very important. And generally plateaus are two types of plateaus. Based on altitude, the plateaus of high altitude and the plateaus of low altitude. These low altitude plateaus are found in Konkan region. Okay, while the high altitude plateaus are situated in Ghat region. Okay, you see these lateritic plateaus during summer, it looks a barren land. Okay, nobody knows important of it, but you see here in summer it's look like barren, and you see this plateaus during monsoon season. Okay, and it's beautiful panorama of this plateau. Here plateaus of Konkan region, and here short life species are usually neglected and missed by botanists as they completed their life cycle in short period. Such a short endemic species are restricted on these plateaus. Okay, that's why these plateaus are very important. Here, this is Neonotis poetida. This I took this photograph in the month of July, and you see this beautiful flower. Though its smell is foetid or is bad smell, but you see this beautiful flower, and this is endemic or restricted to plateaus region only. Neonotis poetida. Then you see here my students enjoying on these plateaus. Here my BSc student during study tour enjoying with these plateaus. And here this is another plant that is Dipkydi conconensis. This species also described by Baker in 1850, and this is restricted only Konkan region. Okay. Then you see this beautiful plateau full with Dipkydi conconensis is white color flower, and this is restricted only plateaus. This plant Dipkydi. Okay, and you see here this beauty of plateau due to this Dipkydi conconensis. Okay, and this plateau with small pond, lateritic plateau with small plant, and these all plants are very important. Okay, all ponds are very important because in this pond unique type of diversity, and earlier this botanists neglected this plant because of ephemeral plant is very short life cycle. Some plant complete their life cycle within 7 to 8 days. That's why these plateaus are very important, and especially these ponds are also very important. Here I am showing one example, that is Jaitapur pond. It is 25 kilometers from my college area, and you know this Jaitapur area is famous for for its coming nuclear Jaitapur power plant. And here this pond area hardly 100 square kilometer. Okay, and you see in next slide, this is in the month of June only water is there. In the month of July first week, July last week, this full of Cornandra. Then August, they you see September, and there is different type of flower. January, this cryptocorin is only there, and February, March, there is a small other plant. There is no water, and you see in February, March, this look a barren land. Okay, in summer it look a barren land, but this pond is how important. How this pond is important. Here we have described some 5 species from this pond. That is Aponogeton nateshi. You see this peak flowering Aponogeton nateshi. Then Cornandra elegans. Then Blixa octandra, Eriocolon retianum, Cryptocorini species, and Pogosneon species. Okay, this peak flowering period. Okay, difference you go. I study this pond carefully. Total 1 year. Okay, I visited every month and observe every plant, and I got 5 new discoveries, 5 plant species new to science. Okay, our guide Professor Yadav, my colleague, student, and we have described these 5 new species, that is Aponogeton nateshi, then Cornandra elegans, then Eleucharis conconensis, then Eriocoron retianum, and Pogostemon species. We propose the name after its type locality. Here, I am happy to inform you that we have described this beautiful species, that is Eriocolon retianum, the name after our educational institute, that is Ray Section Samstha, and this paper published in Phytotaxa Journal. This species is unique and it closely allied to another endemic plant, that is Eriocolon cuspidatum. You see this morphologically, you can distinguish these 2 species. This is large head, that is Eriocolon retianum, and this is Eriocolon, this small head cuspidatum. This with microscope you will get differences, but you see morphologically is differences. Then one beautiful species probably this is a beautiful species of world in during 2016, and this is Coriandra elegans. The elegans after its beautiful or extremely beautiful plant. That's why the name after its beauty. Here you see this flower of Coriandra elegans. Here this panorama. This is panorama of Coriandra elegans. Okay. Then you see this Coriandra elegans is allied to Coriandra chelidoni. This is the right side. You see here Coriandra chelidoni, and here this is this large flower that is Coriandra elegans. Here you see this type specimen we have deposited at Kew, London. This is Coriandra elegans type, and another type of Coriandra chelidoni. Here this is in BM herbaria. Okay. And here you see this differences, the flower of Coriandra elegans left side, and here right side flower of Coriandra chelidoni. This beak of the capsule beak of both. Then you see differences in seed, you see differences in leaf, even in basal leaf also differences. And this paper published in 2016. Here this beautiful flower with 125, about 125 to 50 stamens, and these 4 large petals. Okay, here my students enjoying with this panorama of Coriandra elegans. Then third species, that is Aponodoton nateshi. This is he is my guide, Professor S.R. Yadav, and this is unique discoveries from this pond. You see this embryo here. This Aponogeton is resemble with Aponogeton appendiculatus with its appendage embryo, but differ in having globular embryo with 16 to 20 spirally arranged appendage. And this is a unique character, and this is not found any known species of Aponogeton. That's why this is a very unique genome of Aponogeton, and this paper published in India Journal. Then fourth species, that is Eleucharis conconensis, we name after this Konkan region. Okay, here you see these small sages, and it is neglected from this plateau or this area. Here you see this Eleucharis conconensis, and we name after Konkan region, and this species is closely allied to Eleucharis setifolia. You see these differences in its culm, its quadrangular stem, as well as its pentangular stem in Eleucharis conconensis. This culm width, this sheath, basal tuber present, basal tuber absent in Eleucharis conconensis, and these all characters of this Eleucharis conconensis. Then fourth proposed species, that is Pogostemon dentapurensis. You see this is very interesting and distinct species. We compare this species with its allied species, that is Pogostemon deccanensis and Pogostemon erectus. You see this differences between this Pogostemon proposed species, that is Zaitapurensis, and Pogostemon decrease flower, its bracts, then its calyx, its seeds, all characters different from its chlorophyta, Pogostemon deccanensis. Then another interesting species, that is Cryptocorin, and further work is going on this species. This is also interesting, and probably we will propose in very next few days. Okay, but this plant has some threads of this plant, that is coming nuclear power project, that is Jaitapur nuclear power project. Then not only this plateaus area is also important, other areas of Konkan is also important. That is, you see, this is Eleucharis neglecta. This species we publish. Okay, and this is common species, and it is found in coastal region. But this species generally it's neglected by people and is wrongly identified as Eleucharis dulcis. But you see this clear differences between Eleucharis neglecta and Eleucharis dulcis. Here the stem, then its bloom, its nut, then its spike. Okay, and after critical analysis, we come to conclusion and we propose this as a Eleucharis neglecta. Why neglecta? Because what is neglected, it's common but neglected by people and wrongly identified as Eleucharis dulcis. And this paper published in journal. Here this is paper. Then here Cryptoconina cognata. Earlier scientists proposed that this species extinct from this planet. Okay, this is earlier in critically endangered category, and it is reported as a one article in current science. It is verge of extinction, and some scientists is reported as it is extinct from this planet. But we also collected this species from Konkan region, and this is also unique species. Is member of family Araceae. And another this is Wisneria tyandra. It is also unique plant of this Alice Metici member, and this plant found in aquatic marshy, this aquatic pond on lateritic areas, lateritic plateaus. Then this is important or very interesting group, that is mangrove and aquatic ecosystem. Okay, mangrove diversity found in coastal region towards the west side of Konkan region. Mangrove forests are incredibly important ecosystem. Mangrove protects shoreline from damaging storm, waves, and floods. In natural barriers against violent storm and flood. About total 110 mangrove species recognized throughout the world, while in India about 25 species of mangroves are reported, and this in west towards the west coast near about 20 species are reported, and I have collected about 17 species of mangroves from Maharashtra coast. Okay, these are the Brugueria, then Limnitzeria, Soneraceae, Avicennia, Rhizophora, then Agesiros, then Acanthus, ilicipolis, Soneraceae, and Exocaria. Okay. Okay, plateaus in summer season. Okay, generally already I told in previous slide, plateaus are neglected by scientists or botanists in summer season, or people neglected because it's look a dry land. But you see this plant here, this is Lepidognathis plant, and here how this summer season also important for plateaus collection. Okay. Recently, we have described two beautiful species in summer season. One is Lepidognathis srirangi, the name after my guide, Professor S.R. Yadav Srirangi, and another species that is Lepidognathis ushai, the name after Professor U.S. Yadav, professor in Willingdon College. And these beautiful species we have described from lateritic plateaus during summer season. Here, you see this habitat of this plateau, Lepidognathis srirangi. It is towards coastal side plateaus, and here it is in south Konkan region. Lepidognathis ushai found in south Konkan region, and this paper published in Q Bulletin. Okay, you see here this differences between Lepidognathis srirangi and its closely allied species, that is Lepidognathis lutea. Okay, here lutea name after its yellow flower, and this is also endemic species. And that's why we propose, and this paper published in Phytosaxa journal. Then this is Lepidognathis ushai. We cover this all seasons, monsoon season, then winter season and summer season, and then we study 3 years on this plant, and after that we come to conclusion it is new to science. Then another important group, that is Ipomea aquilata. This species is large flower, beautiful and night blooming plant, and the flower is about 20 to 25 centimeter across. Okay, and this plant is reported for first time Maharashtra. Then this plant, some plant, you see this plant not reported after its type discovery. This is Syzygium stocksai, this is Aglaya talboti, this is Hygrophila serpylum, and this is Ipomea salcetensis. This plant we rediscover after its type locality from Konkan region. Then this is plant Epigenia ratnarica, earlier name was Camptorhiza indica. This species was described by my guide Professor S.R. Yadav, and this is restricted only Ratnagiri plateaus. And recently the name is changed, that is Epigenia ratnagirica. This is endemic plant. It is very important topic or group. Here about 1/3 endemic species found in Bihar. that is in Western Ghat about 4,000 species reported. Out of that, 1,720 species are endemic to Western Ghat. There are some endemic species, Amorphilus, Ipomia, then Chlorophytum borealinum. Okay, here some. You see, this is in rare endemic flowering plants of Rajapur. Okay, and this plant species, this beautiful species, I have collected only this our college and surrounding area, only 10 square kilometer area, and we get number of endemic species of from this lateritic plateaus. Okay, this is a monotypic genera. This is Enococcus pneumoniae. It's a tree species and monotypic and endemic species. Okay, this
I feel Dr. Arun Chandore sir has left out, or there is some technical error. Yes, Chandore sir has connected us again. Yes, sir, please over to you. Sir, your mic is mute. Chandore sir, please unmute your mic. Yes, sir. Chandore sir, please unmute your mic. Yes, sir.
okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There was a problem with the bandwidth.
Okay. Okay. This recently described this plant from Konkan region, that is Amorphilus konkanensis, Dipkadi konkanensis, Euphorbia konkanensis, Trithuria konkanensis, then Heliocharis konkanensis and Ceropedia konkanensis. Except Dipkadi konkanensis, these other species recently described from Konkan region, and these all are unique and endemic and restricted only Konkan region. Okay, then sir, let me know that my slides are is visible. Oh,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then this is yes. Okay. Okay. This is very important group legume. You know this all this pulses legume plant, and about 750 species of legumes are reported from India. Okay. And here you see this species: Desmodium, Stylosanthus, then Crotolaria, Uraria, Smithia, then Teprosia, and Vigna. Okay, these are the important genera of legume, and about 100 species we have reported from Rajapur and surrounding area. Then this is important group, that is insectivorous plant, and here this is, you know, this Drosera burmani, then Drosera indica and Utricularia species are found in this Konkan and Western Ghat region. You see, this is Drosera and some 8-9 species of Utricularia species. Yeah, and I am happy to inform you that we have collected reported this species of insectivorous plant from my college campus area. 35, my college campus has 35 acre area, and my college area is situated on lateritic plateaus, and that's why I have some additional benefit. And uh, this beautiful species, ephemeral, beautiful ephemeral and endemic species, we get in my college campus area. Then this is another group, that is Apocynaceae group, and you know this is very important group. This is beautiful flower Cerophygia, then other species Heterostigma, then Holostigma, Cosmostigma, etc. And about 425 species of Asclepiades Apocynaceae is reported from our country. Then this is a group of night blooming flowers. The members are night blooming plant. Here this Ipomea, then Argeria, then some members Lupa, Rividia, okay, Cleo species, Ramphicarpa. These all the members are night blooming flowers. Then some wild ornamental herbaceous plant. Okay, you see this plant we can use wild plant, but you can use for its ornamental purpose. For example, Senecio, then Dipcady, Habenaria, then Barleria, Impatient, then some Cyperaceae and Euryculaceae member. Though this is very minute flower, we use it ornamental purpose. Then here tree species. You know this is very important group, and about 3,000 species of trees are reported from India, and we have collected about 150 species from Konkan and Western Ghat region. Okay, then this is most beautiful group, that is orchid plant, or it belongs to family Orchidaceae, and here it is it is found in Western Ghat as well as Konkan region, but in Sikkim or Himalayan region this plant species is a dominant plant species, and about 1,300 species of these orchid groups are reported from India. Then here you see this species of orchid, Habenaria, then Liparis, Lucia, here Melexis, Navilia, etc. Here some species, that is Phalaenopsis, we can do its commercial cultivation. Okay, this is Phalaenopsis species. Then some beautiful species, these tribal peoples are used for this Polydota paida, it's called as necklace orchid. Then this is Rhynchostylis setusa, is called as Siticivini. Okay, then another group, this is grasses, green gold, Marathi we call as green gold, or these groups are generally peoples are neglected because it's minute flower and it's difficult to identification. But you saw ecologically it is very important group, and about 1,225 species of grasses are reported from our country. You know this is 4 plant. This is wheat, then Zia maize, then Oryza sativa, means your rice, your sugarcane. These 4 plant complete our 80% food requirement from day-to-day life, and these members of all members belongs to grass family. That's why grass family is economically very important. You know, you see this beautiful grasses. Okay, it's spikelet, it's good. Microscope or good camera, we can identify each and every species of grasses. So even in small we can identify. In grasses, this bloom character is very important. You see this bloom of every species of grasses. Okay, and each and every species we can identify with the help of this bloom character. Okay, this family level we can easily identify it is Poaceae family, but genus and species level we can identify this family with the help of microscope, lens or camera. Okay, you see this is the one genus, this is the Glypoclova. Okay, Glypoclova is the recently described genus from our Konkan and Western Ghat region, and this entire genus is endemic and restricted to our Konkan and Western Ghat. You see this bloom character. Some 7-8 species of Glypoclova found in our region, and all are restricted on our region. These blooms of Glypoclova, this group first having single on group, and the group second here 2 on. Okay, and here you see this ornamentation of bloom. Okay, every species is unique and ornamentation, and with the help of this ornamentation and lower bloom of this grass or Glypoclova, we can identify each and every species. One of my friend, colleague, Dr. Gosavi, we know he's working on this group Glypoclova. Then monotypic and endemic genera. This is a Danthonidium. This is Indopova. This is just like your Pinda. Earlier Pinda was the monotypic. This is Danthonidium was Danthonidium also and Indopova also endemic and monotypic genera. And this is found on this Konkan and Western Ghat region, lateritic plateaus. This is beautiful, or this species you see, this is Hubardia heptenoran. This species was described by Bohr in 1950. After that, nobody has collected this species. Recently, when I was PhD student, that time we collected this Hubardia heptenoran from its type locality. And this another species we have collected, that is from Pilari region. And after critical analysis of both species, you see this is distinguishing character. This right side, this is a Hubardia heptenoran, and left side we describe as a Hubardia diandra. Means earlier it is a monotypic, and now this species is ditypic. One is Hubardia heptenoran, and another is Hubardia diandra. You see another genera. This is habit of Glypoclova. Then Heteropogon. This is grassland. This Pinnipix littoralis, this found in coastal region. Okay. Then second group, that is sages. Sages are neglected by taxonomists because of its marshy habitat. It's difficult to identification, non-availability of standard literature. But you see this pikelet flower or its nut character. Okay, its nuts is very diagnostic character, and with the help of this we can identify each. But you see this marshy habitat, but it's beautiful plant. Okay, this is Eleucharis lankana. It is subspecies Mohammadi, was described by Dr. Wadud Khan sir from Kolhapur district of Maharashtra. Then this is Eleucharis philippensis. Recently we have collected from Konkan region, and we propose it new to our country. You see, this is nut. Nut is very unique. It's fruit, and this surface of nut, it's bristle. Okay, barb bristle, is smooth bristle, is style based, and each and every character is unique. And with the help of this character, we can identify species. You see, this is ACM image. Then we have described another species, that is this is Eleucharis wadudi from high altitude plateaus of Masai region. This is Eleucharis convensis from Khandwa region of Madhya Pradesh. Then you see this is Eleucharis, and diversity of Eleucharis, not dive character. And here you see this is another genus, that is Fimbris, and here you see this Akin nut morphology of this by ACM. Okay, and here you see this nut of genus Eleucharis. We have revised genus Eleucharis under Young Scientist project, and this is we have covered about 32 species from India, and each species is unique, and we can identify with the help of nut character. Okay, then third group, taxonomy is difficult, or it is say it's very difficult group, but you see this is head of Eriocolon. Okay, only the single genus for India, that is Eriocolon from family Erioculaceae. Here with the help of this head, we can identify about 80 to 90% species of Erioculaceae. We can identify by its head. Its head is unique, and about 105 species reported from India. Okay, then this is another interesting species, that is Triathuria conconensis. This plant is size of this plant hardly half centimeter to 1 centimeter, and this plant was described before 30 years back by my guru Professor S.R. Yadav and Professor Janardhanam from Goa University. And this is unique plant. Why unique? Hello, sir. Okay, due to time limit, I will go fast. So this is conservation topic. Important is how to conservation. Okay, I will conclude within 5 to 7 minutes. Conservation topic. This. Okay, this is Ureopolan genus. I will not go detail. This is ginger. You see, this is diversity of ginger. Aloe or curcuma, costus, then canna, then other member. This is Comacea member, or might be called as Cana member. Then the member of Aricaceae, palm member. Here, the most of palm species are cultivated, and some wild species, that is Calamus, Phoenix, Corypha, then Aringa, and this is family. This is paddock type of inflorescence, or Marathi we call as Suran. This is diversity of Suran. This Rhapidophilus, and we can identify each and every species with the help of just its neuter character. Okay, this all species from India. Okay, then this is Sapkanda, Marathi we call as Sapkanda, Erythema, or it look like snake, cobra. That's why it's called as Sapkanda. And here this is the Pandanus Kevda, Marathi we call Kevda. This is Pandanus percatus, and it's found in coastal region, and other species of Pandanus odorifer. Okay, both species found in our region. You see, this is the diversity of Barleria. One of my colleague, senior colleague, Dr. S.M. Shenge, work on Barleria and reported about 28 species of Barleria from India. You see, this is wild species diversity of Barleria. Then this is a Thalictrum. This is restricted only our Harichandra and Kalsubai area, Thalictrum dasyrin. This is NCT superba, wild banana. This is Epigenia species, Epigenia indica, Epigenia stellata, Epigenia here magnifica, Epigenia pallida, and this is colchicine yielding plant. Here, this is already I told that this every plant species with about 20 to 60 species are depend for. Okay, here this animal, this hornbill is depend on this Tichnus naxomica plant. Is Marathi we call as Kazra. Okay, some of this plant. Okay, due to time limit, I skip this slide. Okay, now this is important. This is biodiversity conservation. Okay, to the biodiversity conservation, extinction of species, biodiversity conservation priorities. Okay, here threat to the biodiversity, global climate change, anthropogenic activity, then deforestation, then forest fire, grazing, tourism, industrialization, invasive weed, exploitation of biological resources, then conversion of forest land for agriculture. Okay, these are the some threats of biodiversity. Extinction of natural extinction, mass extinction, then anthropogenic extinction. Okay, then biodiversity conservation. There are two generally used methods: in situ conservation. Here, protection of biodiversity component in its natural habitat. Okay, protected areas network, biosphere reserve, national park, wildlife sanctuary, sacred groves, sacred lake. Okay, and ex situ conservation, protection of biodiversity component outside the natural habitat. Here, botanical and zoological garden, germplasm, seed bank, tissue culture bank, sacred plant, gene bank, cryopreservation, etc. Here, re-evaluation of threatened species via introduction, reintroduction, and introduction. Okay. Here, conservation priorities, we have to conserve hotspot, red species, rare, endangered, and threatened species, protected areas in megadiversity zone. Means we have to focus on this group for conservation. Here, these IUCN categories, these are the International Union for Conservation in Nature and IUCN rare list categories. Here, this is one story that is plant Syzygium stoxa. It is a tea species. It is a critically endangered and endemic species, and this species described from Konkan region in 1879 as a Eugenia stoxna. Recently, 1989, this name was Syzygium stoxa by Gamble, and this species we have seeds collected from summer season, and we germinate these seeds, and this species we have propagated. Okay, these seedlings we prepared in our polyhouse nursery with the help of botanist and NSS student, and you see these seedlings, about 1,000 seedlings of this endemic and rare tea species we propagate or prepare in our college botanical garden and polyhouse here. And I am happy to inform you that we distribute these seedlings free of cost to forest department, other college, our education, our Shiksha Samsthas, other college, and different institutes in Konkan and other region. Okay, then second, this is Dipkadi konkanensis. This is already I told, it is a rare plant. This is Camptoraza indica. And when I was PhD student that time, we remove this plant from its type locality because this construction area of the, and after that this replanted, rehabilitate other location of other similar habitat in Western Ghat. Then successful story of this Hubardia. This is small grass Hubardia, already I told, and this plant we this species grows on specific habitat, hanging rock and continuous water flow. And this plant we planted in about 40 Ghat regions in Western Ghat from Gujarat to Kerala. And you see, this is earlier it was in critical endangered category, and this after reintroduction we this plant come in vulnerable category. You see here, this is, and this is successful localities, and this paper published in Current Science. And I am happy to inform you that our ministry has sponsored me this present this paper to International Botanical Congress at Melbourne, Australia. This is then third plant, another plant that is Cirobija fantastica. This is also critical endangered plant. You see this top view of beautiful flower. It belongs to family Apocynaceae, and this is we use the another method, that is tissue culture, biotechnological tools, and we propagate this plant. We multiply this plant by using biotechnological tools, that is tissue culture method, and this paper published in Current Science. You see this we multiply or prepared about 3,000 tubers of this plant, and this plant planted in natural habitat with the help of forest department. This is a one way for conservation of rare endangered plant. Here it is another in situ conservation program. Is my student, PhD student, and we conserve some recently described and critically endangered plant. Here it is in natural habitat, and we conserve in, it is in our botanical garden, college botanical garden. Okay, this is my college student, NSS and botany student. We remove exotic weed, Acacia auriculiformis, this exotic species, and we planted our indigenous species in our college campus area. Okay, this is my student involved in plantation program. Okay, this awareness program in summer season, sorry, in monsoon season. This is awareness program of related to biodiversity in summer season. Okay, our some public species published on cover page of various journal, and our work also Ministry of Environment and Forest published this beautiful this new discoveries, and this our new species published on cover page of this book. Even also Science and Engineering Research Board also published our species on cover page of Young Scientist Research Highlights. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you can ask frankly.
Thank you, sir. I feel because of time restraints, we will just move on to the next session. Thank you so much for your informative talk. And we were really glad to have you as a resource person. We really appreciate the kind of research work you have done in the Konkan region about the plant biodiversity. Plant balances the ecosystem and provides shelter to many animal species. Thank you. Thank you so much for such an informative talk. Thank you. We now move to the feedback. I know to rectify the errors that we make during the webinar and to boost the confidence, it is always great to hear the feedback from the participants. I now request Dr. S.M. Shenge sir from DP Bhosle College, Koregaon, Satara, to give the feedback about the webinar. Over to you, sir. Dr. S.M. Shenge sir. Uh, yes. Yes. Sir, you are not audible, sir. You are not audible, sir. Uh, Sir, I think there is some problem with the mic.
Check your mic.
Please check your mic. Yeah. Please check the mic settings, sir. Yes, sir. You are not audible,
लिली
sir.
पेपरची एक आणि रफ लिहून कर 3 दिवसाची परमिशन
I think we will move to the next part of the. Yes, sir. Can we move to the vote of thanks?
Yeah, proceed, madam. Proceed.
Yes. So we come to the last part of the program, and that is webinar, that is vote of thanks. I request Ms. Sonu Tanwar, madam, to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible, madam.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. All the respected dignitaries and participants present on the online platform for the national webinar on seaweed utilization and biodiversity conservation, jointly organized by the Department of Botany, Geology, and Biotechnology in association with IQAC of Mahatma Phule ASC College, Panvel. It is a privilege and a great joy for me to extend a vote of thanks to all those who have contributed for the successful organization of this webinar. At the outset, I express my deep sense of gratitude towards today's keynote speaker and resource person of this webinar. First of all, I would like to thank Honorable Dr. Vaibhav Mantri sir for accepting our invitation and delivered the keynote address. Sir, you blessed this occasion with your scholarly talk on seafood diversity and utilization in India recent efforts. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable time and views with us. I'm also thankful to resource person Honorable Dr. Arun Chandore, sir, who shared a deep sense of knowledge about plant diversity and strategies for its conservation and supported this webinar by all means and enlightened the occasion with his talk during the webinar. I sincerely put on record my gratefulness to our dynamic and visionary principal, Honorable Dr. Ganesh Thakur sir, for his motivation and guidance in chalking out all the formalities of this webinar. Thank you, sir, for your support and faith. I am very much thankful to Mr. S.L. Gove sir, IQAC coordinator, Mr. A.G. Rokade sir, head of Department of Geology and organizing secretary, Mr. N.B. Pawar sir, head of Department of Botany and convener, Dr. P.R. Pawar sir, co-convener, Mrs. Rutuja Maidev madam, head of Department of Biotechnology for organizing this webinar. I should be thankful to our technical team, Dr. G.S. Gun sir and Dr. Supnekar sir, Dr. Leena Meshra madam to coordinate this webinar successfully. I must say thank you to our teaching fraternity for their active involvement and contribution for making this function a happening event. I must appreciate and mention the involvement of all the participants from various states of India. I am grateful to all the participants who made the webinar a happening reality. Thank you all once again. Thank you.